We are talking about the B word. Yes, we are the B word, and it's boundaries. We're laughing from the beginning. I'm here with my friend Jade, and we are excited to talk to you about the Healing One Boundary at a Time virtual summit. It is free. You do have to RSVP. Jade is one of our 30 amazing women that are going to come and share their heart, their passion, their excitement, and how boundaries have impacted their life. And so, Jade, I want you just introduce yourself just a little bit, and then you and I will have a conversation about boundaries and make sure everybody knows how to sign up for the summit.
All right, sounds good. My name is Jade Reese, and I am the founder of The Adventure Alchemist, and I am a visual storyteller, explorer, and just general wanderer. I love to travel. I love personal development and helping other women step into their power.
And you love baby owls.
I love all birds, and
Let's just talk
especially
about
love,
that for a minute.
oh my gosh, I love the birds of prey. Like I said, I love birds in general. And can I tell you the story of how I love birds, how I got that? Okay. So last year I went to Uganda, and it's a solo trip to go gorilla trekking. And one of the things that I did is I went to the Bogoti Swamp. And before I left, I have a friend who really loves birds. And I said, well, what do you like about birds? And she's like, I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it. So I'm in the Bogoti Swamp with this little guy from Uganda. And he has a thing about this big. It looks like a car tire. And it's on his, and it turns out it was a speaker. And he had an app on his phone. And he would put in and say whatever bird, and it would call, and then the birds would come to us. So we didn't really have to go search for them. And I was thinking about the conversation with my friend, and so I said to him, his name's Godfrey, love Godfrey. But I said, Godfrey, why do you like birds? And he looked at me really funny, and like I had just asked him the most bizarre question. And so he thought about it a little while, and he said, they're colorful, you know. So we're going on, and then these birds, and it's super exciting when you call them and they actually come to you. And then he looked at me and he said, I love them because they make me so happy. And he was so happy. And that's why I love bird sounds, because they make me so happy. They just do.
So happy.
So happy. And I got introduced by a really good friend of mine to Alridge Raptor Center probably about a year ago when she started working there. And the last time I went up, it was baby season, and they had over 40 babies there. They had hawks and osprey and baby owlets, and you can sponsor one. So I picked this little baby owlet, and oh my gosh, we call it Jade's baby. And I got to spend a little bit of time with it. I got to feed it its little mouse and everything. And I'm like a proud mama. It's starting mouse school this week because it has to be able to feed itself and care for itself. And the whole experience, and while I was there, they had a baby eagle, and oh my gosh, Sam, these things are ginormous. I had no idea. When Lisa holds it, it's like, covers the whole thing. And it made me cry this morning because she posted a video, and its name is Flower. It came from the Ochoe River, and Ochoe is flower. So Flower got released yesterday back in to the care of the Ochoe River. But, just to see this from her not being able to feed herself, Lisa would hand feed her fish, and she had to learn how to fly and all of this stuff. And so, it was a huge success story. And the fact that I got to be part of Flower's story, and then I'm going up in a couple of weeks, and Jade's baby gets to be released. So I'm hoping that I actually get to be the one to release Jade's baby. But gosh, I love that little thing. Oh, I love it so much because it makes me so
cool.
happy.
So happy. Yeah. And so if y'all are new to our channel, just know that I have amazing humans that I get to connect with on a regular basis and get to be, that makes me so happy. And so Jade has been a friend that came along. I guess we've been friends now for a year and a half, maybe ish.
Yeah,
We got connected through Doug's stuff, and you were the friend I didn't know I needed. And so
same.
yeah,
Absolute
so I'm
same here.
so thankful that we're connected. All right. So now let's talk about boundaries just a little bit. Don't give away what you're going to be talking about at the summit, but let's just talk about boundaries in general, a little
Okay.
bit about maybe how they've um, impacted your life in one way or another, or just something in general that you think that somebody listening or watching, if they hear it, they think, ooh, maybe I do need to come to this boundary thing.
Okay. Well, I'll go a little deep just right off the bat here. And this is not in my boundary talk that we're talking about, but my biggest boundary and the hardest boundary that I had was with my mother. And I think a lot of people, especially as we get older, we just, we struggle so much with the boundaries with our family, and especially those mother wounds. And there's so much guilt and shame. And growing up in the Appalachian Mountains, there's the whole honor thy mother and father above everything else. And I had a therapist I was probably late 20s, maybe early 20s, somewhere. It's been a long time ago. And she said to me, just because somebody is your family does not give them a license to treat you like shit. And I was like, I kind of like Godfrey looking at me when I asked him about why he liked birds. It's like, I don't understand what the words that just came out of your mouth. And that was the most difficult struggle for me, was around family and breaking those patterns. And a lot of this is generational patterns and cycles, because we have been taught that family is blood. If it's hard, you stick with it. Doesn't matter how you feel, that sort of thing. And once I was able to start breaking free of those chains, is what it felt like to me, because part of the time I felt like I was chained at the bottom of the ocean and I couldn't breathe. And, I look up and there's just waves and they're just crashing and I'm just tumbling around. And once I started figuring out that I could say no, and no is a complete sentence, and I don't have to stay in this situation, I can remove myself, even if you're family, then my life started shifting. And it wasn't an overnight thing. I got a lot of pushback. A lot of people fell out of my life, even family members, and that's painful. And there's a grieving process that can come along, that comes along with setting boundaries. But I tell you, I heard this thing recently, and it said, some pain hurts and other pain alters. And for me, having no boundaries at all created pain that altered in ways that I didn't even know I was being altered, until I was able to get some clarity around that, start practicing it daily. And now I have boundaries in my life, good, healthy boundaries. My relationships thrive because of that. And I feel free and able to, I don't know, I just feel nourished. And so I'm going to say boundaries make me so, so happy.
And when you first started though with that, they didn't make you so happy at
They did not.
first.
They
No,
did
it's
not.
hard.
They made me
It,
not so happy.
so when you start with a mama wound and that's the first boundary you try and attempt, that is legit hard, and
Yeah.
you did it. And I love the fact that so many people now are starting to understand that just because you're family doesn't mean they get to treat you like shit. And it's so true. And I do see that there's value depending on the relationship and what's happened. There is value in trying to make it work and to figure it
Yeah.
out and to meet in the middle and see if there's common ground, because it's what's important. But at some point you've got to realize this is just not going to work, and it's okay to cut the
Yeah.
ties.
It is. And sometimes just stepping back and putting a little bit of distance. And without going into my talk, because I am going to talk a little bit about just relational boundaries, because there's my boundaries, there are your boundaries, and then you and I as friends, we have a common boundary of our friendship, and I respect yours, you respect mine. And for me, I think the distinction of when to walk away and when not is you and I are in this to win it. I'm not carrying this relationship all by myself. If I communicate with you that there's something that's not working or whatever the case is, you and I talk about it. But oftentimes, especially when it comes to family and parents and siblings, then they have learned that this is how they treat you, and no matter what you say. So it's a one-sided.
You teach people how to treat
Yes, it is a dynamic that is, it's harder to go back and undo dynamics versus starting with new relationships and setting those healthy boundaries. And if you can find somebody, a friend you've had a conflict with, and you can communicate and respect each other's boundaries and move forward, then that's a keeper friend. If they roll their eyes, they, invalidate your feelings, gaslight you, whatever the
you.
scenario is,
Tap out.
boom, I'm done. I am done, because it's, unless both of you are in it to win it, it's just not going to work no matter how hard you try.
Yeah, it's so good. Well, ladies, if you have not RSVP'd, please do. There'll be a link around this video. Enter your name, your email, your phone number if you want text reminders. That'll be step one. Once you do that, you're going to be taken to the Safe Heart Connections community. You'll need that step two. You will need to be in the community to get access to all the prizes and stuff. And I do have people asking, well, what about the guys? Safe Heart Connections is only for women, but if you're a guy and you're watching this, pay attention to where you're finding it. You'll be able to get the YouTube link. You will be able to watch all the summit talks on YouTube. You just won't be able to get in the community. So, and if you RSVP and I see that you're a guy, then I'll make sure you're getting the emails and all the stuff to be able to watch on YouTube. So, any closing thoughts, Jade, before we wrap up?
Yes. I am going to say, if you sign up for this, you will not regret it, and you will make both me and Sam so happy.
So happy. I'm going to have to start using that.
I love that so much.
Thank you, Jade. I'll see you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.